Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the channel, it's Cynicalex, and we have the third sneak peek here locked in, and this one confirms another piece of the leak. This time around, oh boy, are we getting something pretty big. Now, we're getting the, of course, Superior Octopus uniform that we saw from the leak, so that is 100% confirmed, because you can see the image here, and you can see it again here, and you can see the now claw that he has on his current default look. You can see kind of wiggling around over here because I'm on the page for Doctor Octopus, and so that is sort of, you know, tying those two things together. However, Master of the Laboratory, we're jumping right in. We can see that there is an awakening crystal as well. It says here, you know, with the help of characters, we've discovered a mysterious lab. We need to conduct further investigation to find out what kind of dangerous experiments they have done here. We found various clues, including a metal tentacle. We know what that means. We need to find out more about who this person is and if they will cooperate with us. I don't really like the idea here because this could possibly hint at Doctor Octopus, Superior Octopus being a hero and not a villain. So I would really hate for them to do that. He should not be cooperating with the Marvel Future Fight CM fragment. He should be a villain 100%. This should be a 100% villain update, but we'll have to wait and see. Hopefully I'm wrong, and hopefully I'm reading way too much into it, just a few, you know, a few words in this sentence. And then over on the Twitterverse, it says this newly recruited Hydra member has plans to show the world who is truly the superior villain. So superior here refers to Superior Octopus. It's sort of the reference to Doctor Octopus. Oh, and then here it does say villain, so hopefully I'm 100% wrong. Yeah, and this has nothing to do with being a hero. However, now we spend the rest of the video discussing and dissecting what the sneak peek means as far as what you should be doing, and what it could also mean for the rest of the update. So we know Doctor Octopus is getting a uniform. Doctor Octopus definitely needs a rework, but he doesn't need a rework on the level of characters like Crossbones and Red Skull. I would say he does have already. He's got a bit of a buff here. It's not an amazing buff, but he does have a little bit of a buff there, and then he's got a guard hit in addition to an iframe here. However, this skill was very poorly designed because it's an iframe during the guard hit, which makes absolutely no sense. So the guard hit actually doesn't apply because for the majority of those 4 seconds you're in the iframe part of the skill. So it's going to be interesting to see. His 4-star passive is not bad, 15% increased physical attack, and the rest of his tier 2 passive is not bad, like the rest of his setup here. Ignore dodge and extra skill damage. He just doesn't really have enough. He's decent, but he just doesn't have enough. And for a character that's supposed to really counter Spider-Man, he should have higher than 30. He probably should have 50 or 60% ignore dodge. Might even give him web immunity as a basis. Although he doesn't have web immunity necessarily, but maybe, you know, maybe reduce debuff, because he can use the tentacles to take off the webbing from other tentacles, so it sort of reduces the effectiveness of Spider-Man's webbing, but that's maybe a bit too specific. His leadership is pretty lame, but we've kind of come to expect that characters are going to get lame leaderships, but it's really the awaken skill that we have to think about now. And the advice that I gave you guys before during the Warriors of the Sky, which is the same advice I have for you now, is that you should have been, and hopefully you have been, saving your awakening crystals. I have been. Hopefully you have been as well. I originally spent crystals, awakening crystals, to unlock, well, I spent money too, but I spent awakening crystals to unlock blue dragons and get hers up to level 5. But as you can see, I have not gone to level 6, although I have the materials for it, because I don't think it's worthwhile. I've talked to people in my alliance and other players who have it at level 6, and they're just not impressed with the damage. I think Marvel Future Fight needs to look at these skills for the Warriors of the Sky, and they need to bump up the damage. I would say they at least need to double the damage for it to actually be a real skill, because we're calling this up, you know, tier 2.5 because it's a little bit higher than tier 2, but it's not quite tier 3. But really, it's not. I mean, the awaken skill, the animation is way too long. First of all. Second of all, you can't cancel it. Third of all, it has horrible negative synergy with Giant Boss Raid because the entire screen goes black, and so you're risking dying just by pressing the skill. And then the damage is just not comparable. The damage is not even close to her 4th skill damage. So why would we pump all of these resources into a skill if the damage is not that good? The effects are okay, but you don't have a game mode for us to use these effects in. So that's really the problem. Hopefully they will rectify this. We don't want the Awaken skill to be too strong, like a tier 3 skill, but it needs to be a little bit stronger than these Judgment skills for the Warriors of the Sky, because they're just not worth it. So hopefully you haven't made the mistake of investing. Again, I also invested in Shadow Shells, but hers also I left at level 3, and I didn't even touch Sunbird or War Tiger. Now keep in mind, this is probably going to be the cost to awaken each of the characters that get the Awaken skill. So it's actually pretty pricey if you want to awaken all of the characters, and that's really going to be the big question. How many characters are going to be part of this Hydra awakening skill? Assuming it's the Hydra awakening skill, we assume that Doctor Octopus is going to get it. I mean, if it's a Hydra awakening skill, Red Skull's got to get it, Viper's got to get it, Baron Zemo's got to get it, Crossbones has got to get it. So we've got possibly 5 characters. You could possibly throw Sin in there if she gets her level 70 as well. You could even throw Taskmaster in there if you wanted to. You could possibly throw Captain America in there. Now, it's not likely, but if he's getting this uniform and he's supposed to be the Hydra leader, one of the Hydra leaders, you know, we could be looking at close to 10 characters getting this Awaken skill. I'm not saying that's going to be the case, but I'm saying it's a possibility. So we're going to have to wait and see. It's a lot less simple than just 4 Warriors of the Sky, 4 characters getting the Awakened ability. They might keep it to a really small group. They might just keep it as 4, you know, Crossbones, Red Skull, Doctor Octopus, and 1 more. I don't know, but we'll have to wait and see. We'll also have to wait and see the power level of the skill. It'll be interesting if Captain America does get it, because he'll be the first character with 7 active skills, which is really cluttering the screen. I think they really need to get rid of the auto attack button, which would probably be a good time to reorder the skills, because it makes no sense how the skill wheel goes like 1, 2, 3, and then it bounces over to 4 and then 5. Like, it's, you know, it's not intuitive for newer players. So if it was just 1 to 5 in a sort of a pattern like that, you guys know what I'm talking about. Anyways, it would make more sense. And then what we also have to look forward to is what the cost is going to be. Now, I bring this up because we don't have the precedence. We only have the precedence of 1 update. So what I'm talking about is in the last update, when we first got this Awakening skill and this ability, the way that it works is you need to have the other Warriors of the Sky at 6 stars if you want to unlock the Awakened ability for any one of the members. So let's say you have a 6-star tier 1 Sunbird and Shadow Shell and War Tiger, and then you get a tier 2 Blue Dragon, then you can start leveling up and unlocking her Awakened ability. But if you don't have the rest of them at tier 1 6 stars, let's say you only have Sunbird at 5 stars, then you can't do it. They need to be apparently they need to be, I think they need to be tier 1 level 60. So it'll be interesting to see whether they continue that or whether they make it, you know, they need to be tier 2. We'll have to wait and see if they make it more expensive to unlock the Awakened abilities, because all of the characters are going to need to be on the same level, presumably. So the more expensive they make it, the harder it's going to be, and the harder it's going to be, the more value we expect in return. If I have to tier 2 all of these characters, especially if like Taskmaster or Viper or Baron Zemo costs money, if they're going to be Bioselector characters or Crystal Wall characters, if I'm going to have to throw down real money, then I'm going to expect this Awaken skill to be really good, because you're asking me to invest money in a character, Sunbird, that might not even be good. I mean, hopefully Viper and Baron Zemo are good. I'm not saying that I don't want them to be bad, but you know, you're asking me to invest in a character, not necessarily to play that character, but to unlock the Awaken skill for a different character. Let's say unlocking it for Red Skull. Another thing that you could bring up is the fact that we might have to unlock these characters and rank them up, but those characters might not have Awaken skills. Now that's a kind of a weird way of putting it, but when I went through all of the characters, you know, Crossbones, Red Skull, Sin, Captain America, Baron Zemo, Viper, Doctor Octopus, there are a lot of potential Hydra members in the existing Marvel Future Fight roster, and you could actually argue that there are more characters than that if you can choose some other ones, but they don't necessarily all get Awakened skills. So it'd be interesting to see if they're going to require you to have all of the Hydra members ranked up, tier 1 or tier 2 or whatever, but they're not going to give an Awakened skill to all of those characters, but they'll still require you to rank them up as a means of unlocking it. Like I said, I don't know what's going to be the case. I can only say based on what we saw from Warriors of the Sky. If they copy that, then it's just going to be 6-star versions of these characters that you need. But I just wanted to point that out to you guys, and I wanted to sort of speculate because not speculate, just sort of throw ideas out there, throw theories out there, because we don't know what Marvel Future Fight is going to do, and we should sort of, you know, hope for the best, prepare for the worst. Now, as far as leveling up these characters in the meantime, because you know now that you're going to need them in some form, we don't know how many of them you'll need, and which ones you'll need, and how high you'll need them, whether it's 6 stars or tier 2 or 5 stars or whatever. For Crossbones, you can only get him through biometric selectors. So strongly consider either waiting to play Shadowland. You have to wait until Wednesday. I already started. I'm way ahead. But you have to wait until Wednesday, February 5th. At that time, you have to judge where where your time zone is, and you have to see, you know, on your time zone, when does the update usually happen, like the maintenance update, and then just make sure you play your Shadowlands after that time. But this upcoming Wednesday, which is 1 day before the reset. So you actually are cutting it very, very close. I wouldn't necessarily recommend this to players who have to do like 80 or 90 stages of Shadowland, because it's a lot to do in 1 day, because the weekly reset is on the 6th of February. But that is if you want to make the absolute most efficiency of your biometric selectors from stage 5, 10, and 15. For upcoming characters, we don't know, maybe another one of the characters will be bioselector as well, whether it's Baron Zemo, Taskmaster, or Viper. So that is what you have to do, and of course you can also use the biometric selectors from Shadowland to get Crossbone bios to either tier 2 him, 6-star him, or you use his uniform, rank up his uniform. As far as the other members of Hydra, I mean, they could even include MODOK as a member of Hydra, technically, just throwing that out there as a possibility. But yeah, MODOK and all these other guys here, if you scroll down, you will find them. Red Skull is there, Doctor Octopus is there, so you can get their bios from the token shop, the Rift token shop. So if I were you, I would start saving Rift tokens and not spending them. If you're a new player, like if you've been playing for less than 6 months, I would probably not recommend saving them up. I mean, you're probably still spending them every day on these comic card chests trying to get better cards. You should continue trying to get better cards, but if you've been playing for more than 6 months, or you already have decent cards and you're comfortable, then I would suggest maybe saving up your Rift tokens. I still spend my 1,500 Rift tokens every day getting the uniform upgrade kits, because I need them for uniforms. But otherwise, I am saving them up, and hopefully I'll have over 200,000, maybe over 300,000 when this update lands, to see then how much we really need to spend. But I'll find out on the APK on February 8th before, so you will have at least a couple of days of a heads up, although that is a lot less. It's 8 days less than the heads up I'm giving you right now to start saving your Rift tokens. So don't say I didn't warn you. Start saving your Rift tokens. Last but not least, because we are getting, I mean, again, keeping with the tradition of the sneak peeks, because we got the Doctor Octopus sneak peek, there is a strong possibility that Taskmaster is going to be the tier 3, or we are going to be getting a sort of out of left field tier 3, a tier 3 that doesn't have anything or much to do with Hydra. Like they could give, let's say, not that I want it, but Doctor Doom, and oh, he's a villain, so he's getting his tier 3. He's coming to bolster the other villains in Marvel Future Fight. I don't know what kind of BS narrative they're gonna come up with that, but they could say that, or they could just pick a random character and just say, you know, this character has strengthened their power. There's really no justification that they need to give us for a tier 3. I'm kind of warming up to the idea and to the theory of Universal Taskmaster, and he's getting his tier 3. I think it's pretty interesting. Someone brought up the point that Taskmaster can copy other people with his photogenic reflexes, and how he sees your fighting style and then he can copy it. So it would make sense that he could copy blast, speed, or combat, being a universal, and also being that universals in Marvel Future Fight don't have a disadvantage, and so, you know, they could sort of express that passive that he has, that ability that he has, by giving you the type advantage when you're fighting a different type of character as soon as you get hit. So for example, he has this enhancement, he has this regular enhancement, which gives him increased damage against the 3 types, but then let's say he gets hit by a blast type, and then it will change into this, and then suddenly he will have increased damage to blast types, and he will have decreased damage against, like, incoming from blast types. And then later on he gets hit by he gets hit by a combat type, or whatever. He gets hit by a speed type, and it changes to this. I messed it up as far as the explanation goes, but you kind of get what I'm saying. So he'll basically, the typing will continuously change to give him the advantage versus the character that he's facing. So he'll be universal, but then if he gets hit by a blast type, he'll change into speed to have the advantage. And then if he gets hit by a blast type, he'll change. Well, no, wait, no. If he gets hit by a blast type, he'll change to speed. If he gets hit by a combat type, he'll change into blast. And then if he gets hit by a speed type, he'll change it to combat. I've been confused. I'm confusing myself right now, but you guys get what I'm saying. Anyways, yeah, that's all I have to say about the sneak peek. Doctor Octopus, Superior Octopus, Awakened ability, pretty cool stuff. Definitely start saving your Rift tokens if you can. Definitely continue saving your Awakening Crystals. Do not spend them. And we'll probably be a couple of days before we get the next sneak peek. So maybe give some of the theories a shot and see what you think of them. And maybe hit me up down below in the comments and let me know what you think of the update sneak peeks so far. Thank you so much for watching. I've butchered the end of this video, and I will see you in the next one. Take care.